Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Just Bulldogs podcast. Got a special one for you here. Boldo from the ETStand podcast, Sharks podcast, joining the show. Mate, welcome.
Thanks for having me on. Favorite of the other team's podcast, the Just Bulldogs podcast. What a great delight to come in to just chat to you guys about what I expect to be a pretty tough week at the office. We might break your little winning streak, but we'll see how we go.
Hopefully we make it as tough as we can for you. So start off the show. We've just done a podcast over on their channel, so make sure to check out the ETStand podcast if you want to see probably some more Bulldogs chat over there. Make sure to jump onto theirs. So heading into this week, Bulldogs side's pretty well unchanged. A few guys changed some spots on the field, but all the same faces. Daniel Salika-Fafita jumped into the starting lineup. Jamin Salmon in the starting side. And bench remains the same. This Shark side kept the same. Braden Hemulueli drops out of the side.
Injured.
Injured in this one. So not too many changes there, but what do you expect and who's coming into the side? Who's covering injuries here?
Well, so we talked about it on the ETStand this week we've got a physio, the ex-Sharks physio, Francis Crossley, who came on talking to us about MCLs and ACLs. So we expect Hamlin Ueli to be out for probably 3 to 4 weeks. He's had knee problems before, which is a little bit of a concern. There's also doubt around Siosifa Talakai, who was hit with a hip drop. The Sharks club haven't released that much about what his injury is. Fitzy's typically pretty cagey with not revealing too many injury details. So it wouldn't surprise me if he dropped out of the team. He can be a little bit of a handle to deal with. So having your guys prepped to deal with him and then maybe not having to is probably a bit of fun. So you might notice on the extended bench, we have the return of Toby Rudolph, who had a really quite a rare shoulder injury from surfing over the off-season. So he's returning in round 4, which is about when we expected him. So I would expect to see him or either Billy Burns come into the team if Talakai drops out. But other than that, the Sharks are unchanged, almost at full strength, having only missed first choice, really, Sione Katoa on the wing instead of Sam Stone Street. Would be the pretty much the full strength Sharks team. So it's going to be pretty tough for your Bulldogs, I think. The Sharks have been in pretty good form this season so far. Bad decision making against the Panthers in Vegas cost us, and some also moments of kicking it out in the full and some schoolboy stuff. But since then, we've been in pretty good form and comfortably dealt with the Cowboys and also South last week. We were red hot in the first half, and then the queue almost went back in the rack. So, the Sharks, we like you guys coming down to Shark Park. Hasn't been a fun hunting ground for you.
Yeah, definitely not over the past few years, but we got the one up on yous last season, so we'll take that. Hopefully,
the 15-14 bloody Bull Sharks couldn't ice the game, and what was it? Your mate Burton kicking a field goal, and I
think that was a bit of a field goal off at the end of the game. I think that was that one.
Yeah, but out of the 7, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 matches before that go, is the Sharkies won all of them. So it's not like we're quaking in our boots at the prospect of the Bulldogs turning up. It's not like you got Mark O'Mealy and Willie Mason turning up. Yeah, so I think we'll be all right.
Some of our dark days, but we're past that now. We've got brighter futures.
Fair enough.
So some of the big names in this side that we know, the Sharks team's been pretty consistent over the past couple of years. Not too many changes there. The halves, Braden Trindle and Nicho Hines. Is it as much as it's made out to be? Braden Trindle, the dominant playmaker, Nicho Hines playing a bit of a ball playing role?
It is absolute rubbish. It is just media beat up, just not knowing what to say. Nicho is clearly the best player in the Sharks team. He is, I would say, maybe the 4th or 5th best halfback in the competition. I'd say he sits behind Cleary and Luai, definitely, and maybe behind Hughes and Moses then. So kind of putting him in 5th. I'd say Reynolds and DCE are also probably better than him, but coming to the end of his career. So he's certainly in the top echelon of the NRL halfbacks, and the pressure that he cops because he's a good-looking rooster and it's easy to bash up on the Sharks. Like, he was injured at the end of last season, and so he came back as quickly as he possibly could. He's a Daily M winning player, and so when he plays well, the Sharks just do well, and they're just looking for this absolute rubbish. And where the Sharks play left side, right side, and sometimes Trindle will be in at first receiver, and that's completely okay. And we want them to have that fluidity in the team. It's absolute beat up. There's nothing wrong with Nico, nothing wrong with his confidence or any of those things. Like he's paid $1 million a year. He's one of the best looking and most known players in the NRL. You think that guy's suffering from confidence issues? Nah, he's doing fine.
No, he definitely looks good. I like it when he does get that one extra man off the ruck. He's a ball player. He's very good at taking the ball to the line. So.
He is that. He took the ball to the line nicely on the first try last week, and he controlled the game quite well. Despite, Trindle had the 240-20 kicks, Nico was controlling the game for the Sharks and steering them around. So with those two on point, it's going to be pretty difficult to deal with, especially without your big advantage, which is the Burton kicking game. So, yeah, keep an eye out. And also the swirling conditions down at Shark Stadium, Shark Park, should favour us as well. Can be a little bit tricky to play down at Shark Park. So keep an eye out for the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, okay. The next one, the biggest worry for our Dogs pack is going up against this Sharks pack. They've got the enforcer up front, Adam Fanua-Blake, very, very worrying player for oppositions. But behind that, definitely a fall off. So
a little bit, yes and no. So last season we had Oregon Kaufusi and Royce Hunt and Jack Williams, Toby Rudolph and Hamlin Ueli. And really the difference between all of those players was pretty negligible. So we would have big arguments on our podcast of which ones we thought was better. And so now it's pretty clear that Fanua-Blake is the clear top forward in the club. Kaufusi is a pretty dominant second. And McInnes shores up and is such a good tackling player and has got the quick leg speed and quick play the ball. So that is clearly out and out our strongest starting, middle forwards. And so what'll happen is that typically we've seen so far Fanua-Blake will play the first 25 minutes and then typically come off at the same time as Kaufusi, and Cam might go a little bit longer than that. And when we're bringing on the likes of Talakai, Hazelton, Tapua, and Braden Hamlin-Ueli, we're not losing. Like, we're obviously not as good as what they were, but that's a pretty quality forward pack. So we shouldn't drop off too much. So in terms of your question on Fanua-Blake, he's incredibly difficult to deal with at the line. The Sharks love a crash play on how they score tries. So the Sharks will often just bludgeon you to death with, fast play the balls and repeat sets, and with the risk of the swinging it out wide to Ronaldo Mulatalo and the centers that can break tackles. They're not quite as skillful as they were 5 years ago. Sorry, Pricey, but they're still pretty good. But in terms of how they score tries, Fanua-Blake through the center is going to be pretty difficult to deal with. So he is a very, very, very welcome addition. And I'd say you could argue he's been our top player this season, actually.
Yeah, definitely happy to buy him, I bet. For this dog side, I'm very confident in our edges defensively. We aren't weak in the middle, but a player like Adam Fanua-Blake is, something else. So definitely a player that I'd be worried about close to the try line. Our big body in the middle of the field, Daniel Saluka-Fafita, he's only going to play 15 to 20 minutes. So hopefully he matches it up with him in the early parts. And then when our bench impact guys get on the field, they can have their crack at him. Roughly, how long do you reckon he's playing on the field at the moment, Adam Fanua-Blake?
So he takes the first 25 minutes and then comes on pretty much with 20 to go. They thought in the first match that they left him on for too long, actually. So they thought, maybe we put him on for too long. So limiting his minutes compared to what he was getting at his past clubs. So really making sure that we've got big impact from him when he comes on. So the Sharks are looking to be one of those teams now that are leading by the time their replacement forwards come on. Whereas typically before, last season, it had been Sharks, we just want to be close and in the hunt because our reserve forwards can catch up. Certainly, he's made the forward pack stronger, and Blake Brayley is also in good form. As I'm looking through it, goodness me, I don't know, man. It could be a tough night at the office for your little undefeated Bulldogs.
No, I'm confident in our pack. We've matched it with some pretty.
Who have you matched it with so far? All right, yeah, come
on. This is going to sound bad. The Gold Coast Titans starting.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you matched it with the Titans. All right, cool.
I would say their starting pack by name brand should match it with other teams.
Yep. But all right, cool. So you beat the Gold Coast team, and then what else you got?
Yeah, we're over the Dragons and the Eels, who are definitely not.
They're like the worst teams. They're like the worst 3 teams in the NRL, those guys. It's like you haven't beaten anyone.
Yeah, so this is a week.
This is a real test. You want to play a real NRL team? Come and play the Sharks down at Shark Park on a Saturday night. Hopefully it's cold and windy and just bloody miserable for you characters.
No, we're definitely going to be in for a good one. For us Doggy fans, where are you more worried? Where should we be looking to attack this Shark side?
Probably Sam Stone Street. Sometimes his decision making can be a little bit questionable. The high ball with him, Kennedy's been pretty good under the high ball this season, but I'd certainly be going after Stone Street's end of town, and then the big Sharkies forwards, Hazelton, Tapua. If they have to play too many minutes, they can get gassed and miss an easy tackle. So maybe a smaller player, maybe a Reed Marnie running through them or something like that. Beyond that, the defensive stature of the centres, I can't see you getting around us. But look, Sherry's pretty quick, but I reckon Rami Nero have got your centres not covered, but cancelled out.
I think it's a very good matchup in the centres.
I think it's a good matchup. Yeah, that's true.
Bronson Cherry,
I wonder if Bronson Cherry's going to be heaps pumped up for the Sharks. I don't know if he's going to get booed or not.
Yeah.
Maybe the Sharks fans have moved on from booing him.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. So, and he's a good-looking bloke. How can you boo him?
Oh, he's no bloody Nico Hines, mate. Come on.
Different styles. He's a good-looking bloke.
Not that we're into good-looking blokes, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like whatever you're into.
Nothing wrong with noticing.
Nothing wrong with noticing. Yeah, definitely, indeed.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Stone Street out there. He'll definitely
Stone Street's fast, dude. That guy, he scores. He's got more than a try a game, or about sitting on that. So he is pretty popular with the more eclectic of the Sharks fans.
Yeah,
Stone Street, and so he scores his tries in the corner where the new Shark supporters club sits with all of their signs and carry on. So keep an eye out for him. And then look, also the long range tries of the Sharkies. So last week we saw 2 of the great Sharks long range tries back to back. Don't know if you had the pleasure of seeing those on the highlights or not. They're absolute terrific tries where Ronaldo managed to just jink his way through in his own in ball or in dead ball area. And then with Kennedy and Hero and those guys just playing back and forth and passing it, then they managed to find each other. It's terrifically fun tries. So look, they can attack and run from distance. They're not blisteringly quick, but Mulatalo and Stone Street, they're no slouches.
Yeah, good. Okay. Last year we had a bit more of that going on in our side, throwing the ball coming out of our own end. We definitely still shift it, but not as aggressively. Working a bit more up the middle now. Stone Street. If I like the matchup, offensively for us, Montoya is an absolute truck. And he has been our first try scorer for the first 2 games this year. If Hayward can get a bit more hand on the ball, get a bit more confident as a playmaker this week, I think that left edge could be a matchup. But I'll definitely be looking for our right side to get going. Mulatalo, very senior player, as good winger out there. But a player
a lot of tries, Mulatalo.
Really looking for. Yeah, a player that I'd be worried about coming at us, but a player that I could definitely look at us getting towards. Our right side attack is where we should be aiming our attack going down this week. Toby Sexton had a very good game last week with plenty of pressure going on our line. The most kick meters ever in a game. New record, Toby Sexton last week. So we do lose Matt Burton.
Your forwards weren't hitting the ball up enough, mate. Yeah. Needed to make more meters. So that's not such a good thing.
No, it was a tough going getting out of our own end. But Toby, we lose the big boot of Matt Burton, but Toby Sexton's no slouch in the area. So definitely a player that can stand up in that area. But we'll get into it. What's your predictions? We'll go with try scorer and a score prediction for you in this one.
I'm gonna go with Sam Stone Street's been a bit quiet on the try scoring. I think you can trust him to get a meat pie, and maybe Teague Wilton as well. This is a bit of a smoky. I think the Bulldogs defense are going to keep the game tighter than perhaps the Sharks would like, but I think the Sharks 13+, I expect the Sharks to win and keep it tight. Maybe be 1.5 tries ahead for most of the game, and then jag a try at the end to push it out to a 14 or 16 point win. I think we'll be comfortable enough. But you never know with the Sharks. They can always blow it. But I think you guys are too under strength. Sharks are in good form. We've won prior to last year's 15-14 loss. We've beaten you 6 in a row or something. So you can't keep winning forever, mate. So we'll see. I reckon the Sharkies have got you. I'm confident. Sharks 14-point victory for mine, Jaden. Sorry, guys.
My prediction, we keep this winning streak going. Dog's going to come
well,
up.
You're obviously the Bulldogs podcast host, so of course you're going to predict a Bulldogs.
You're 100%
Imagine you
right.
in the comments. Jaden comes, we predicted a loss and then we lost.
No, you're 100% right. I'll be backing my Bulldogs every week.
Well, I'm known to tip against the Sharks, actually, from time to time.
Okay.
So
I tipped against them once, but we forget about that.
Where did you tip against them?
2 years ago against the Penrith Panthers.
Did they lose?
They lost very heavily.
Oh, then what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, we'll see how we go. And then look, Bulldogs fans, for anyone listening to us, if we do what's called a live debrief post match. So if you want to jump on our channel and give me a bit of shtick and talking it through and say, 14 plus dickhead, then by all means you can go and do that. That's fine. So we'll see how we go. But goodness me, if the Bulldogs win and you do get 4 wins in a row, that would be a terrific start to the season, all things considered, actually. You've got to be feeling pretty good about the Doggies.
Yeah, where we're at.
I don't think you'd be doing as well as that, to be honest. So good luck to you.
Yeah, where we're at right now, we've got Knights, then a bye, then the Rabbits. If we can win this game,
you might be on a streak.
Yeah, so this is the one without a couple of our stars. It'll be a tough one, but if we can jag and win, we're setting ourselves up pretty well. But I definitely,
before we go, who's your all-time best Bulldogs and Sharks player?
Oh, well, my favorite player, second all-time, Josh.
Played for both.
Yep, Josh Morris.
Josh Morris.
He is my guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He was
I'd say mine's a clear, obvious answer, actually, and I reckon my answer's better than yours.
What's that? Who you got?
Ben Barber is clearly the best Sharks Bulldogs player ever.
Yeah, so
especially given that the season that he had for the Sharks was so good, and the season that he had for you guys was also so good.
The highest high.
So I'd say I'm just trying to think other than that who might be.
There's some good names. Michael Ennis.
Michael Ennis is pretty handy.
Yep.
Well, obviously Josh Adokar, I think, played for the Sharkies as well. Maybe we don't count him.
Yeah, right.
It's certainly not. Oh God, what was the name of that bloody hooker in the late 2000s that we got from you guys?
Ooh.
Oh, he was terrible. Oh God, like Adam Perry or someone like that, like one of those guys. He wasn't so good, but I'm sure every NRL footballer is a good player. So
anyway. Good
enough. Looking forward to the game. So do get onto our channel and give us a hard time. But we'll see how we go.
I'll definitely be in contact after this one. Hopefully it goes our way. But I definitely appreciate having you on. If you want to tell anybody where they can find you.
Yep. So we're on YouTube, youtube.com/ETStand podcast. You can also find us on Facebook and then all the audio channels as well. And then we've got a Discord channel for Sharks fans. If you haven't found us there, you can get online and in there and have a chat with us. I'm overseas at the moment, so I'm watching the games remotely. So I'm online in that Discord channel, getting frustrated when the Sharks do something badly and cheering when they kick ass. So
good. Okay. Appreciate you jumping on.
Pleasure, mate. See you next time.
Thank you.